everyone, welcome to Homeschool. So we are in the chapter 3. We have completed chapter 1 and chapter 2 of the first unit, that is diversity in the living forms. So we are in the chapter 3 now. Chapter 3 is plant kingdom. We have already seen briefly what exactly the plant kingdom includes and what are its general characteristics. So today we will see all the classes which comes under the plant kingdom in detail. Okay. So we will quickly revise what are the very general characteristics, or as soon as you hear the word plants, what is or what thought comes to your mind. So that we shall discuss today first. So plants are, firstly, they are photosynthetic. Very important point, because whenever the plants come to your picture, we see that, or we say that plants are photosynthetic because they have chlorophyll in them. Chlorophyll. So first general characteristic is the photosynthetic. That is, plants are photosynthetic in nature. And why are they photosynthetic? That is because the chlorophyll pigment is present in them, that is making them photosynthetic in nature. And third general characteristic or very peculiar characteristic of the plants is the presence of cell wall. And what is cell wall made up of? Cell wall is made up of cellulose. Cell wall, which is made up of cellulose. Okay. Then see, from the previous times, as we have seen it in the first chapter, there were many systems of classification and few systems which only included the superficial characteristics were actually called as artificial system of classification. Okay, I repeat it again, try to understand. The systems of classification which included only the superficial characteristics were called as the artificial systems of classification. But against such artificial systems, few scientists came up with some natural systems of classification. So here I would mention two names. The first one is the George Bentham and second one is Joseph Dalton Hooker. I'll just write those names. We'll write it here. The first name is George Bentham. George Bentham. Second one is Joseph Dalton Hooker. Joseph Dalton Hooker. So what they did? As I said, there were artificial systems of classification. These two scientists, what they did is they came up with a natural system of classification, and that natural system of classification actually included both external as well as the internal characteristics. Previously, what happened in the artificial system? It was only the external or very superficial characteristics which were readily observed by eyes. Those are called as superficial characteristics. So they were considered in the previous systems. So now what they have done is they have taken very detailed characterization, very detailed information about the plants, and then they have come up with a system of classification which is called as natural system of classification. So what all they included actually, or what characteristics did George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker had actually included is, they had included the ultrastructure, they had included the anatomy, they had included the embryology, and then the phytochemistry. So we will just quickly write it down. They had included the ultrastructure, anatomy, ultra structure, anatomy, ultrastructure, anatomy, embryology and phytochemistry. Embryology and phytochemistry. So ultrastructure, this itself suggests that they have gone into a very detailed characterization of a plant or organism. All right, so based on these four important characters, all right, these four important considerations, they had come up with a natural system of classification. After this natural system of classification, again one more advanced system of classification had evolved. So here we are speaking about the natural system of classification. This is about natural system. So after the natural system, one more very advanced to this system of classification had come up, that is called as the phylogenetic system of classification. That is phylogenetic system of classification. So what is this phylogenetic system of classification, or what does phylogeny means? So here this is mainly based on the evolutionary characteristics or the evolutionary relationships between various organisms. All right. So here what is the basis of the classification? Here it is the ultrastructure, anatomy, embryology and phytochemistry were the basis of the natural system of classification. For the phylogenetic system of classification, what is the basis? Here the basis is the evolutionary relationship between various organisms. It is evolutionary relationship between various organisms. Between various organisms is the basis of the classification. And who gave this phylogenetic system of classification? It was given by Hutchinson. It is given by Hutchinson. All right. So we have seen various systems of classification. Artificial system of classification, that is based on very superficial characteristics. What are superficial characteristics? The characters which are very readily observed characters. So as in when you see a plant, so what characteristics will be observed by you? Just taking them as the basis, that classification was done. Against the artificial one, natural system of classification came up, which is given by Joseph Dalton as well as George Bentham. So they gave the natural system of classification based on certain characteristics, and they included both internal as well as the external characteristics. That was ultrastructure, and then the anatomy, embryology as well as the phytochemistry. Fine. Then after that, much more advanced system of classification, that is the phylogenetic system of classification came up, and this is mainly based on the evolutionary relationship between various organisms, and that was put forth by Hutchinson. Fine. Now so scientists, it is not only about these three scientists which I have mentioned here. Many scientists have studied various systems of classification, and they have tried to classify the plants in their own way. All right. But somehow all the scientists who have tried to study the classification have taken certain sources for the study actually. So those sources are very important whenever anyone wants to study the systems of classification, whenever any scientist wants to come up with a new systems of classification, they should have some source, isn't it? So if we, right now, if you are preparing for examination, let's take you are preparing for NEET examination. For that, you should have a source. What is the source? The source is you have NCERT textbook, isn't it? So that will remain as a source. Apart from NCERT, you have the homeschool channel, isn't it? So likewise, you have many sources to prepare for the examination. Likewise, if you want to study the classification or if you want to come up with a new system of classification, there should be some sources to study this. So now we will study what are the sources to the classification, or what are the sources to study the classification. So majorly there are three sources, and the first one is the numerical taxonomy. I'll write them. First one is numerical taxonomy. What does numerical taxonomy actually means? So this study is majorly done through the computers. So each and every data about every single organism or every single species is fed in the computers, and those computers will actually help us in finding the characteristics, right? Like for example, if you have an unknown organism, and if you want to find out which organism it is, then you just have to go to the data search, and there if you see that, you have to see the characteristics on one side, on the other side the organism. If the characters are resembling, then you come to know that this particular organism belongs to this genus or this species or whatever. Fine. So here each and every character, each and every observable character is fed in the computer, and the study is majorly through the computers only. And very important character about the numerical taxonomy here is, here each and every character, okay, each and every character gets equal importance, and number of characters can be considered here. Since I said it is based on the computer, we will just write it. It is by, the study is mainly by computers, okay, it is mainly by computers, and it is mainly based on the observable characters. Fine. So since like observable characters, many people can observe an organism in n number of ways, and all those becomes the observable characteristics, right? So each and every character of the plant or that organism gets equal importance, and number of characteristics can be included or considered in case of the numerical taxonomy. So this is the first source to study the classification. Second source is the cytotaxonomy. It is cytotaxonomy. What is cytotaxonomy? The name itself suggests cyto is, it is cellular, is or cell, isn't it? So this is mainly based on the cytological information or cellular information. Alright, so what, and in depth, if we consider a cellular information, then that mainly speaks about the chromosome number, structure and the behavior. So here it is speaking about the cytological or the cytotaxonomy is mainly speaking about the cytological info. Here it is cytological info. Fine. Then next point is, so this gives major information on the chromosome number, structure and behavior. Chromosome number, structure and behavior. Chromosome, number, structure and behavior are considered in the cytotaxonomy. Third one is the chemotaxonomy. We will write it here. Third one is the chemotaxonomy. So what does this mean? Chemotaxonomy, again the name suggests this. Here we are mainly speaking about the chemical constituents of the plants. So this chemotaxonomy is majorly based on the chemical constituents of the plants. So this is chemical constituents of plants. So these three, first, second and third, numerical taxonomy, cytotaxonomy and chemotaxonomy, these three are very important sources to study the classification. Any person who wants to come up with a new source of classification or who wants to come up with a new system of classification, that person definitely should consider these as the sources and then start the classification studies. All right. So I hope these basics are very clear. Now we have seen various systems of classification. Anyways, so as in your syllabus, so that detailed study of classification is not there, but still we will simply generally we will have a flow chart for the classification of the plants, how exactly they are being classified into various classes. All right, I'm repeating again, we are just seeing the general classification. All right, the flow chart which we are going to write now is the general classification of the plant kingdom. So generally when we see plants, we usually talk like plants are they are either grown on the land or they are grown in the water, right? So on basis of where exactly they thrive, we will first classify them. So firstly, aquatic and land plants or terrestrial plants. So plants are first divided into either aquatic plants or the terrestrial plants. So firstly we will take up the aquatic plants. And the organisms which are usually grow in the water are algae. That is the algae. Fine. On the other side, we will take up the land or terrestrial plants. Land or terrestrial plants. Fine. So, on the land or terrestrial plants, based on the presence or absence of the vascular tissues, we will go for the further differentiation. Okay, I'll write it here. Based on presence of vascular tissues. This is again differentiated into two groups. So the one wherein the vascular tissues are actually absent. All right, the one wherein the vascular tissues. What are vascular tissues? Vascular tissues are, here we are speaking about xylem and phloem. All right. So if the vascular tissues, or I'll write it directly as xylem and phloem only. If the xylem and phloem are absent, if the xylem and phloem are absent, then these organisms will belong to a group called as Bryophyta. They belong to a group called Bryophyta. And if the vascular tissues are present, all right, if the xylem and phloem are present, then we will write it here. Xylem and phloem are present. So the organisms which have the or wherein the xylem and phloem are present, those organisms will be further classified into two groups. These are further classified into two groups. The one which reproduces by the spore formation, all right, the one which reproduces by the spore formation are being classified under one group, and the one which produces the seeds are being placed under one group. So firstly, reproduction by spores. Reproduction by spores under the group wherein the vascular tissues are present or the xylem and phloem are present. Under this, again, the one which reproduces by the spore formation are called as, or they are being placed under the group called as pteridophytes. They are being placed under the group called as pteridophytes. So now on the other side, here we have reproduction by spores. On the other side, the organisms wherein the seeds are being formed. Alright, organisms wherein seeds are being formed, those are called as spermatophytes. Where seeds are formed. Seeds are formed, they are called as spermatophytes. And now, these spermatophytes are again classified or further classified into two groups. These spermatophytes, based on whether the seed is open or seed is enclosed in the fruit, based on that, again they are being classified into two. If the seeds are naked seeds, all right, if the seeds are naked seeds, write it here. If the seeds are naked seeds, then these such kind of plants are being placed under the group gymnosperms. They are being placed under gymnosperms. And if the seeds are enclosed in a fruit, all right, if the seeds are enclosed in a fruit, such organisms or such plants are being placed under the group. I'll write it here. If seeds are enclosed, seeds are enclosed, then they are being placed under the group called as angiosperms. Angiosperms. So how many classes did we see here? The first one is algae. Algae is the first one. Second one is bryophyta. Third one is pteridophyta or pteridophytes. Fourth one is gymnosperms, and fifth one is angiosperms. All right. So the plants depend upon where exactly they grow or thrive. They are being classified into aquatic plants and terrestrial plants. So aquatic plants, majorly the organisms of the plants which fall under the aquatic are algae. All right. Then under the terrestrial plants, here it is based on the presence of the vascular tissues. See here, what you have to remember here is algae majorly they are thallophytic in nature. What do you mean by thallophytic or thallophytes? It is like there is no differentiation or there is no proper cut differentiation of the leaf, stem, roots. Like if you take a plant, definitely a plant should have a stem, it should have a root, it should have a leaf, fruit and everything. So that differentiation should be there, right? But in case of these algae, they are called as thallophytic organisms. They are thalloids. So they don't have such clear differentiation or proper differentiation of the stem, root, leaf and all. Fine. So the most of the aquatic plants doesn't have that proper differentiation, and all of them are being placed under the group or the class algae. Then so terrestrial plants, so this is again based on the presence of the vascular tissues, that is the xylem and phloem. Fine. If the xylem and phloem are absent, fine, if the xylem and phloem are absent, then such plants will be placed under one particular class called as the Bryophyta. Fine. And if the xylem and phloem are present, such plants are again being categorized into two classes, that is the one which have vascular tissue and the one which reproduces by the spore formation are called as pteridophytes, or they are being placed under the class Pteridophyta, and those are called as pteridophytes. Similarly, the plants which are having the vascular tissues but the one which produces the seeds are called as the spermatophytes, and these spermatophytes based on whether the seed is enclosed or whether the seed is open, that is whether the seed is naked or if it is closed. So based on that, the spermatophytes are again further divided into two classes. If the seed is naked, if there is no enclosure for the seed, then such plants are being placed under the class called as gymnosperms, and if the seed is enclosed in a fruit, so such are called as, or such plants are being placed under the class called as the angiosperms. So this is a very general classification. We haven't spoken about the technical classification here, which includes the cryptogams, phanerogams and everything. So what I feel is this classification will give you a proper idea how exactly they are being classified. It won't confuse you much here. Fine. So I hope this particular the basics for the plant kingdom you have understood. So in the next video, we will move on to these classes, that is algae, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, gymnosperms and angiosperms. We will start with the algae in the next video. So subscribe the channel and share the video.